Today I want to tell you about what might be my new favorite thing in general, but for sure my favorite new thing in photography, and that is this thing. This is the Fujifilm Instax Square printer. I took it on a family trip with me to Lake Havasu, printed out a ton of photos while I was there, and I took it to the Build Expo in New York City by B&H. And dude, walking around with this thing and being able to print photos out for people as I was cruising around, everybody loved it. And I figured I would tell you guys about it today. Today's video, though, not sponsored by Instax. It is, however, sponsored by K&F Concept, who makes some of the best filters in the industry. I've used them for years for UV filters. Pretty much all of my big lenses, and even like this Leica, have a UV filter on the front. A $7,000 camera protected by a $30 filter. If something were to happen, and I've had this happen on my big glass, especially, I've dropped my cameras at weddings, I've had things hit my cameras at weddings, and I've had the UV filter crack because of it, which means that I can just screw off the UV filter and the lens is still completely intact. But they make some pretty rad effect filters as well. This is the black diffusion filter, the 1/8. This pretty much lives on this lens. If you can see, see there's like the tiniest bit of diffusion back there. It just takes a little bit of the digital edge off of my high-end Sony camera. But if I was to take this guy off of there, check out something like this filter. This is their blue streak filter. You know, like you see in movies, someone's walking with a flashlight or a head. Look at that. Oh, how sick is that? Watch what happens. Look at that. Lights turn into a 4-star kind of flare. And then this guy is their 6-star. Same thing. I can screw this thing on there and then I can rotate it to kind of figure out where I want that star pattern to be. And there's the 8-star. And you'll see even lights back there, each individual LED is kind of turned into a little star. And this one's going to be wild. If you are prone to seasickness, close your eyes. Let me get it screwed on first. Look at this filter. This kind of effect is being done by a filter, and then from behind the camera, you could be spinning this to create an effect, like a dreamy whoa. Black diffusion, though. The black diffusion filter essentially lives on this camera. I use the 1/8 black diffusion filter, kind of like a UV filter. It's just always on there. Anything else I will stack in front of that filter, but that filter is always on this lens. Massive thanks to K&F. Shoot you the links in the description, and yeah, pick yourself up some filters yourself. Also, these star ones, man. That's so fun. Okay, today we are going to talk about this printer. We'll get into specs, pricing. But let's first talk about why do we even print photos in the first place? What is the draw to printing photos? And I think it's just this predicament that we are all in, where we have thousands and thousands of amazing photos on our computers and on our phones. But there's something very different about actually seeing your photos in your real life. And the featured photos app on the iPhone, it's really good. I do kind of flip through my featured photos almost every day. We have Aura frames in the house. We have Pexar digital picture frames in the house. We run Apple TV photos going all day long. So our house, we are seeing some of those photos, but there's something very different. There's something very different about holding, actually in your hands, a physical, tangible, this was a trip that we were in. That's Eleanor at 6 months old. Not even, she might've been 4 months old. And we are in Hawaii on the beach. It's just amazing to actually have these things in our hands. Look at that. Girls down at the beach. This is the very first night. It's the very first night that my wife and I ever hung out. I have this. It's kind of like a ready to go picture in a picture frame. And yeah, so we know that we want to print photos. We know that there's value in holding a memory in our hands. So why do I choose this printer? And one, I would just say, it's fun. I've tried all sorts of printers in the past. Morgan and I actually ran a photo booth business for 5 years, Red Photo Booth, and we had the gamut of printers, from super high-end printers to just kind of cheap, quick and dirty fun printers. And there's a few things that I learned. One is this: if I'm going to print my photos, photos that I'm gonna put on the wall, photos that I'm gonna frame up for my family or clients, I'm going to go through a printing service. I'm not going to print those at home. I'm going to use someone like Miller's Lab or Bay Photos, something where I can get like museum quality archival prints. I'll pay 35 bucks for an 8x10. And then when I'm printing photos that, look, I just want to be able to print this out and I want to put it on my desk, or I want to be able to like stick it to the inside of my wife's bathroom mirror. For those types of things, a couple of things that I really don't want. I don't want a photo that like, if you touch it, you get fingerprints on it. If you like ding it a little bit, it'll get a bent corner. Like, I want something that is durable, easy, and kind of fun. And this fits the bill. Okay, so first up, what is this thing? This is essentially, it's just the print element of an instant camera. Well, now this printer connects to an app on my phone, so I can take any photo that's on my phone and print it from here. And I could print it multiple times. We'll talk more about that. How I've really been using this thing probably the most is with the X100 Mark VI. And the reason is that this camera is shooting those film recipes built into the camera. So when I was walking around New York City, oh, there was this guy there. What was his name? Shoot, Louis something. Okay, this guy outside of the Build Expo, he had this like 1940s Contax camera. I can't remember what the camera was. It was a camera from the 1940s, and he had actually attached a Fujifilm Instax wide back to it, so you could pay him $50 and he would take your photo for you. More so that I was excited about was that I was taking his photo. Where did I put it? Look at this guy. This is, that right there is, look at that camera. There's Donna and Mr. Brockhurst. Being able to just like take photos of your friends. Hello, Lucas and Kofi. Look at that, that was a good smile. I made him laugh. That was a good one. All of these different people, you're able to take their photo and instantly print it, again in a format that's like ready to go. So let's talk about pricing. Okay, the printer itself, 140 bucks. Now, it doesn't sound great. The cameras though, the cameras have gotten significantly more expensive, but I would argue that this is a much more cost beneficial way of doing instant photography, even though at this point it's not instant anymore, but of doing instant prints than going like this kind of camera route. So 140 bucks for this, but then you gotta buy the film. And the film, just like any instant printer, is expensive. It's not as expensive as some of them, but this film right here, you get 2 of them? No, you get 40 prints. So 4 packs of this is $54, which for 40 prints, $54, that comes out to $1.35 per print. So every time you print one of these out, there's a great picture of Charles from Condor Blue. Every time you print one of these out, $1.35. I know that sounds like a lot, but with this, every time I shoot the button, I print an image. And plenty of times, like you get like a group shot set up and you're like, click, and you're like, bro, you blinked. Let's do it again. Click, that guy blinked. And just the exposure could be off, it could be too dark, it could be too light. There's so much that can go wrong with instant photography that will make you go, I'm gonna take another picture. And now that second picture that you got and you're like, nailed it, that photo now costs $2.70 because you threw the first one away. And with this thing, you are importing the photos into the Instax app, which by the way, the app is great. I can see all the photos that I've already printed, or I can import new photos. Let's just find this one here, and I can say print again. And while I'm in here, so if I just like imported a photo and I'm like, oh, it's a little dark, or I can go into filter. I can put filters on there. I can correct. So I could say I want it a little brighter, or I could say I want a little more saturation on it. And when I have it exactly perfect, and I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see, I just hit print. This is exactly how much time it takes. It is printing from here. It is sending it to here, and we print. And it's just like an actual Instax print. So you want to put these face down, do not shake them. It drives me nuts when people shake them. Look, it even says, oh, it just says don't put, it doesn't say don't shake, it says don't put in your mouth. Who's putting these in their mouth? It's the coolest thing that I have added to my photography bag. This thing lives in my bag now with like 2 extra of these in there. So if you ever see me out and about, I'll take your photo and I will print it for you. I will say, like in the past, I've been heavily invested in the wide format, and I do like the that is all of us in New Zealand. For this one, for the wide one, I was using the, what's it called? I made a video on it, the Evo camera. So I was still taking these, like that's taken on the X100, but I was printing them on here. So, and like, again, like that's kind of what can end up happening when you're just using an instant camera. Like you get these like really dark pictures, which are nostalgic in a way. Like that's a fun nostalgic photo, but boy, is it cooler when I like can take something that came out of one of my nice cameras. I can make sure it's awesome and then hit print. I kind of think that's better.